Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Bava Batra daf Kuf Chaf Hey. We are going to begin on Kuf Chaf Dalid Amud Beis by the second line from the bottom. Well, actually, let's begin a few lines above. So when it comes to the din of a Bechor, firstborn, we know the firstborn receives Pishnayim, double portion. However, Ein Bechor Noitel Roy Kiva Muchsik, something in which is not automatically there, but rather something which is fit for that person to get later on, that individual does not get the Pishnayim, will not get double portion. So we asked a question when it came to a loan, and there was the discussion whether or not he would be able to get Pishnayim from the loan, possibly, and possibly from the loan, but not from the ribis, if there was a loan to an Ovid Kachavim. And the distinction, as the Rashbam saw and shared with us yesterday, is that at least when it comes to the money, so the father before he died lent the money, and therefore it makes sense that it's considered like it's muhsik in a certain respect when it comes to a milva. However, the ribis, he never lent out the ribis. That was extra money that's being charged interest. So that's the reason why we make that distinction. And then we say it depends. According to Rabbi, Gabo karka yeshlo, gabo mois ein lo. Rav Nachman Amar gabo mois yeshlo, gabo karka ein lo. So we're going to start with that. There's a machlokas when they collect, for example, with land. So you could maybe say yeshlo because that land is considered to be meshubed. There is a lien on that land, and therefore that's not considered to be roy. Mashen when it comes to money, which we say mois is l'hoitzan nisna, when Kedushin says as well, and therefore for that reason, ein lo, because that money was not there. Or you can say fakert, he lent with money, so therefore giving back money yeshlo, because it's money and money. If you lent money and you get back land, ein lo, because it's not the same thing. Armle abai lo Rabba. So he posed this point to Rabba with didach kasha or Rav Nachman kasha. According to you, Rabba, that says gabu karka yeshlo, that when you get money, you get rather the land, there's pishnayim. Rav Nachman says only when it comes to money that's paid back with, when you pay back with money, there's pishnayim. I have a kasha on both of you. So why is that? So first of all, again, Armle abayil Rabba l'didach kasha, Rav Nachman kasha. So l'didach according to Rabba kasha. Why? As we continue to kuf chaf ham and aleph, ma'ishna mois. How come you, Rabba, say that when it comes to money that's you pay back with money, that the Bechor does not get it because it's considered to be like milvel haitzan nisna? Ma'ishna mois the low. Why not the lav hani mois shavak avuhoin? It's not the same money that the father gave, because the father gave money as a loan, and then he spent it, because again, milvos will hoitzon this, that money went out, and now this is new, different money, so therefore it makes sense why, therefore, when it comes to money, Rabbi says, ein lo, so karkanami lav, ha karka shavakavuhoin, certainly, the father didn't even give any land at all, so why would we say, according to you, I just don't understand the svara, even though we explained it a little bit, why is it that Rabbi would say that karka yeshlo? But furthermore, ha'adhu di amrit mistaber taima de b'nei merava. It's logical, the reasoning of the b'nei merava in Eretz Yisrael. Di'im kadim savta v'zavna zvini. If the savta, we're going to see on the very bottom of this amud, short amud, this case of savta, which I'll just quickly point it out, that there was a person that had possessions, and he gave his possessions to his grandparent and to his grandmother, his savta. And now normally after she would die, it should therefore go to her heirs. But instead he made a condition and said that after you die, I want it to go to his heirs. So that was like a stipulation. And the question is whether or not that works. Does it go to his heirs or to her heirs? So that's the case of the Savta. So he said in that case, even though there's this whole dispute, if she would have gone and sold it, it would have been a good sale. And the logic is because at the time she was given this, right? So therefore she was Yerusha. As long as she's alive, it makes sense she should be able to sell it. Let's look at the Rashba. Rabbi Amr ba'uvda da hisafta dahavila bas ben bena hanasul abal. So you had this person, the son, his daughter's son's daughter was married to this husband. Ruya haisa hahi bas liyarsha. It was fit for the daughter to inherit it. Umesa hi bas, and she died. V'achach mesa hasafta, and then the Safta died. V'asa Bava v'katavi Yerusha sezakena ki'ilu ishtu kayemes. And he made this condition that the Yerusha of the grandmother should work as though the wife is alive. Dahavi hanu karkois ruin ishto. So this land is something which is only fit to go to the woman. V'im tomos hazakena b'chayeha. And if the grandmother would have died in her lifetime, b'hari meisa hi b'chay hazakena, the ein habal noita broikav amoksuk. So the husband will not get it, because we say that even though the husband is Yerush from his wife, he's only Yerush something which actually is in his wife's possession. But if, let's say, his wife would die first, and then there would be a Yerusha, so she's not able to be Yerush at Bekever, and therefore he would not get it. Skipping a line, a few line, Hakarka havile roy, pishnayim. The question basically is that how could it be that if you would say, Rabba, that when it comes to land, that Gabu Karka Yeshlo, but why would you say that? L'chayra, it's Roy, and a Bechor should not get it. Rav Nachman Kasha, Maishna Karka Delo, why did you say, if you pay back the loan with land, it's not, because the Lab HaKarka, Shava Kabuhan, because the father didn't give land, right? The father gave the Ovin Kachavim money. So Mas Nami Lav Hani Moy Shava Kabuhan, it's different money that he's paying back, so it's also Roy. Va'od, Ha'im Rav Nachman Amarabba Boravua, Yisaimim Shigavu Karka, Yisaimim who collect land, B'chayvis Avihen, from the obligations of their father, Baal Chayiv Chayiz V'goyva Mehen, the Baal Chayiv can go and collect from that land. Says the Rashba, Yisaimim Shigavu Karka B'chayv Avihen. If you have the Yisaimim who collect land because of the obligation of their father, Baal Chayiv Chayiz V'goyva Oisim Mehen, the Baal Chayiv can go now and collect it from them. A feel hachi moidel gabi b'chayra will chashiv karka haloiva muksik l'malva. We will still say when it comes to land, regarding the bechor, that it's not considered to be land which is muksik to the lender. Will shavik b'bechor pishnayim, and therefore the lender's kid, the bechor, will not get pishnayim on that. Skipping a couple lines, the itmar bal chayiv abai omer mafrei hu gaiva, rabbi omer mekano abah hu gaiva. There's this machlokas whether or not he can collect retroactively or from this point forward. Skipping a few lines. If you want to tell me that the Baal Chayiv can only collect from now on, that's like the business dealing of the assignment. If the assignment were koinit, the nixi, mi mishtamdu Baal Chayiv, umeshani shani hasam the amr lahu Baal Chayiv, since it was mishubed to the father, so it's this concept of shibud Rav Nosson, namely that if A owes B and B owes C, A can directly pay C. Skipping a few lines. Rav Nachman Gabu Karka Einloy. When it comes to land, Rav Nachman says that Einloy, because it's considered to be separate. So Gavu Mois Yeshlo. What Tamayhu de Benim Rava Kaimer, the Asrav Nachman Omemu and Didi, Loshna Gavu Karka, Loshna Gavu Mois, Ainloy. So without going too much further in this Rashbam, it shouldn't make any difference of Ainloy. So back in the Gemara, so Amalei, Lul Didi Kasha, Lul Rav Nachman Kasha, Tabedim Rava Kamrinan, Vulon Lul Svirulon. The reasoning of those of Bnei Merava were said, but we don't hold of it. So, according to you, you may disagree with the Bnei Merava regarding the din of Hahusafta, which again we're going to explain soon. Let's look at question 13. Rav Nachman Desfirule, the Ena Bechor Nil to be Shnayim B'Milva, that he says that firstborn will not get the double portion when it comes to the loan. Ketzad Oimer Yisaimim Shigabu Karka B'Chavas Avian. How do we understand then? Yisaimim who collect land from their father's estate. Baal Chayiv Chayiz V'Gav Elisamehem. The Baal Chayiv can go and collect it from them. Haloi Havi Muchzekes Avihem. It wasn't muchzek to their father, but Havli Kikanu HaYisaimim. It's like the Yisaimim were kainet. So Hasam Mitam Shibud Rav Nachman. The reason why they can collect it from the Yisaimim is because of Shibud Rav Nachman. The Avlabi Shlo Hayam Muchzek Avihim, even though the father wasn't muchzek in it, Kivan Shabal Chayv Harishon Meshubid Gam Loi. So again, basically the whole notion of Shibud Rav Nachman is that Shem Nasan, they have A owes B and B owes C, so therefore you can collect directly. Okay. So my safta, what exactly is this case? Dahu the Armiluhu, as we continue to kuf chav hayamid beis, a person said nechaslim l'safta, that my possessions will go was a kanati to my grandmother. Ani noisin kol nechasai. Aim aviv or aim imo, either my mother's mother or my father's mother. I'm giving all my possessions to my grandmother. Okay, so once she accepts it, nonetheless, ubasra lirati toi. After she dies, I do not want her yorshim to get it, which would maybe include, let's say, her son, her daughter, or her father, or anything like that. Rather, I want it to go to my heirs. Like, for example, my son, my daughter. So again, he's giving it to his granddaughter. He's giving to his grandmother. So his grandmother has it, but on condition that when she dies, that Yerusha does not go to the normal channels, but it goes as though it's like back to me, and therefore goes to my children. So Havile Barta, the Havi Netziva, so this daughter that was getting married, Shchiva B'chai Bala, and she died in the lifetime of her husband, Ubachai Safta, and in the lifetime of the grandmother. Now, normally you would think that if the Savta owned it, the grandmother owned it, it would then be transferred over to her daughter as an inheritor. But that's only in a situation where the grandmother would have died first, and then the daughter would have inherited it, and then when the daughter dies, so maybe the husband will get it. However, that's not what happened here. What happened is the daughter died first. So therefore her husband wasn't Yerush because it was Roy. And a Baal, as we're going to see, cannot be Noitel B'Roy Kavamochsak. Even though if she would have outlived her mother, the wife would have been Yerush. So the daughter of this woman would have been Yerush, and then the husband would have gotten it afterwards. But that's not what happened here. Havli Bartat Havinet Siva, Shchiva B'Chai Baal B'Chai Saf. The boss of the Shchiva, after this woman died, or this, let's call it the wife died, then Buster Shchiva Safta, then the grandmother died. Now the question is, what goes on with this money? The money could have been given over to her heirs. Now also Baal, so her husband came, which is also the son-in-law here, right? Because it's the daughter's husband, Tava, and he was claiming because he was expecting that money should be given to him, even though again apparently in Baal Noitel B'Roy, but maybe he didn't think that. So Rav Huna Yartai, so the din is it goes to the heirs. I feel Yartai Yartai, even the heirs. Rav Ananoim Yartai Yartai Yartai. It goes to her heirs, but not her heirs. Says the Rashbam. So what does this mean? So Rav Huna says, Kivan de Zochsa behen mechayim, since she was Zeiche in her lifetime, Hari Habal Yarish as Ishto. The Baal will be Yarish. Dainu Yarte Yaratai. That the inheritor will get the inheritor, which basically is saying that the husband will get it in this situation. which apparently sounds like that he could even take something which is not yet coming to him. It's only roy. So that's a machokis. So what is the din? Shalchmitam hilchasa kavasid Ravanan. The halacha is like Ravanan, that it only goes to her, the Safta, but not to the Safta's daughter who died first, daughter's husband. Vlamatame hilchasa kavasid Ravanan. The reasoning is not the reason as we said. The Ravanan the Baal wa Yaris. He said that the husband isn't Yarish. Vlamatame the Ilu Ravanan Savar. The reason why the husband is not Yarish, according to Ravanan, he says, that even if there would be a son to the daughter, her son would not inherit. Lohi. In fact, he would inherit. However, the reason why the husband in this case will not inherit is, as we said, and therefore, that's the reason why the husband can't get it, is because his wife died before the Safta died. The Rav Huna Savar must be, the Rav Huna holds that Baal is Neitel Broik of a Mochsek, so Amar Rabbi Lezer, Davar Zen Niftach B'Gedolim, it began with the Gedolim, and the Stein B'Katanim, and ended with those who are Katanim. Kol Amar Acharecha, Ka'imir Machshav Dami, anyone who says Acharecha, it's Ki'il like you're saying Achshav now. So what does that mean? It says Rashbam, who the Katanim, Rabbi Lezer Atzmo Hari Katan Legaber Rav Huna. Kaimer Machshav, says Rashbam. The Kivan de Oimer Ubasr Liartre, and since he said that after you, the Safta, will die, it'll come to his heirs, the Hainu Labas, to his daughter, Hainu Nami Kamoshemer Miyad, and Inoisin Es Hagufa Karka. It's as though he's saying, right now, I'm taking the actual land, Leviti, for my daughter now. Ella Shizakanti Toichel Paris. But the grandmother, meanwhile, can eat the fruits, Bechaya in her lifetime. Yachakach, and then afterwards, Achaken, Tikach Bite O Haba Mikoichas, and the Chasim, the Chash, fine. So afterwards, his daughter can take it. So basically, that, as Rashbam says, Hilchach Havi Lizu Habas Muchzekes Bechayeha. Therefore, the reason the daughter really is Muchzekes in the lifetime, behind the Chasim. Bechi Kayaris Baal Shabar Kar Yaris B'Muchzek. And therefore, the husband actually has a right to take it, because it's not that it was Roy, but rather it was Muchzek. The reason why the statement was made was basically saying that, yes, Safta can have the Paris, but I still want my daughter to be able to inherit the land. So he said it's logical that if, let's say, Safta would go and sell the land, it would be a good sale. Now the question again is, we just said that really she only has rights to the Paris. Says the Rashbam, the Chashu hu Roy legabi bas will muchsik. According to them, they say it's only Roy. It's not muchsik to the daughter. The Leiko Amemer, you can't say that's Kaimer Machshav Dami. That's like it was Machshav. The Ha'im Kadma has a Kain Machayahu, because we know if she would sell the property, Umachra Lacher Zvine. Now, how is that possible that she's able to sell it? If you hold that it's K'achshav Dami, so then she doesn't have rights to the Karka. The Safta only has rights to the Paris right away. So the fact that we hold that the land can be sold by Safta obviously is indicative that that is actually not the din, that we say that she only has the rights to the Paris. It must be that's the case. And then finally, okay, let's go slow down. So, what is the halacha? A husband cannot take Roy from a muksik, but Roy mamish. As we said before, that when it comes to the wife, even though she could be Yarish from her, let's say from her mother, but that's only when the mother died and then she got it, not the other way around. Now the Rashbam brings down the case we had before, but give us Pinchas, but Noidu Rav Huna lo Paul Yel Bacharecha. The parish of Belezer, the whole Oimer Acharecha, and who says the words, these last words of Acharecha, Vaser the Liarti, Oimer Machshav Dami. And therefore, since you say Machshav, Maybe Safta is only kiyu like she had the Paris. Of a boroi, the plea be Rabbi Yochanan v'Rabbanan kin chavura v'havi shuvli shalfuvi havi tamri. As we said, the whole machlokus is if, let's say, you had a tree and then dates grew on it, etc. Lo asla shminan de'in habal noitel elavadi habal noitel. In that case, he would take, even though it looks like they're separate things. Shahari kishemesa, when she died, yarish es kol nechasim. Nourish all the everything. Okay, skipping a few lines. So that is when it comes to the husband. We just said before. On this, Rashbam says, this is referring to any improvements that happened after the father died. So the children, the Yisayimim, they didn't do anything, but let's say it was shvach mamela. So in that case, apparently, maybe that means that this boy, the bechor, will not get pishnayim. Of a dikla of olam. Let's say you have a tree that just gets bigger. Ariv aska sirtoin shadain shmon harishal, as we said, that the name doesn't change. Everyone holds there, he'll get a double portion. Of anavim uvetsurim lo shakol bechor pishnayim. Afil Rabbi. These other things we will not say he gets. It was an improvement that the Yisayimim made. That because even Rabbi doesn't hold that you will take in that case. The whole machlokus, as we saw previously, is only a shvach memela, something that happened. In other words, you didn't have to you have an animal that was grazing in the meadow and it was in some marshland. You didn't have to feed it anything, and there was shvach and improved, or it ended up having offspring. So therefore, you get pishtayim on that. It was actually machlokas, but Rabbi holds you do. But certainly in the case where the Yisayimim are the ones that put forth the effort, so then certainly he would not take. Question 14. Be'ezan oif in the kuliyam b'chor notu pishtayim b'shvach sheshvichu nechasim achamisas avihen. When would everyone say that he does get? Okay, so we said the dikl of olam arab aska sirtoin shedain shman harishan alan. The name is still there. The kol yamonaitel b'shvach pishnayim that you do get. Shtar sheishalav mashkain the kol yamonaitel boy pishnayim, which we didn't do yet. Okay, let's continue. In b'chor noitel pishnayim b'milva. That you do not get a pishnayim when it comes to a loan, ben shigava karka, ben shigava mois. Whether we're dealing with land or with money, in that case, you do not get. However, says the Rashbam, v'lav hani mois shavik l'hoin v'havi le'roi v'i tofes ala mashkain. If you held onto a mashkain, afil rapapa b'chor notu pishnayim ba'al chayiv koina mashkain. So therefore, that would be the case where you would, in fact, according to all shitas, the bechor would get pishnayim. Okay, let's look at a couple more questions. Question TA 19. Well, Rabbi the gavu karki yeshlo lebechor pishnayim. According to him, that if you pay back with land, there is a din of pishnayim. Madul chashav roy. Why is that not considered roy kamo besafta when it comes to the land in which the grandmother gets? Mishum di kadam v'zavin zvini. We said before that if she would go and sell that land, so therefore it's a good sale. So how do we understand this? So our answer is like this: B'loiva, if we're dealing with this loan, af izavin, even though she sells it, akati lupaki hashibud ma'karka. The shibud actually never leaves the karka; it's still there. So therefore, the idea behind this is basically there is still a lien, if you will, on this property. So that doesn't change, and therefore, for that reason, it's still considered to be muksuk, and therefore you would still pay, you would still give the bechor pishnayim. Question TB20. Be'ez oifen, same question as we saw with 14. So bedeko shu olim, like a tree that got bigger. Oh, basirtoin, as we said, that let's say it produces fertilizer. It's the same name, right? the same. It has the same name, if you will, on it. However, in a milva sheish mashkain is also l'kul yalma, that you would get pishtayim in that situation because Baal Chayv is kind of mashkain. Ad kan.